Hi there. Today on Max Revs, we'll look at the process of wheel alignment as performed on a Porsche Cayman S 987 Gen 2. The subject matter expert for this video is Tony from Wheels in Motion, so we'll leave most of the talking to him. If you've never quite understood your camber, caster and toe angles, this is a video for you, backed up with graphical illustrations on the Hunter HawkEye. It does get a bit technical in places, but hey, that's how we like to roll at Max Revs. As you watch the video, if you're enjoying the content, please give us a thumbs up. Also, if there's something you didn't quite understand and want clarified, send in your comments. Lastly, Max Revs will soon celebrate its first anniversary. A big thank you to all of you out there who've subscribed and are sharing this journey with us. The first thing which has to be done is to get the vehicle onto a level ramp, attaching reflectors to each wheel such that the laser guided machinery can do its business. The reflectors are attached without metal on metal contact to your wheels, so don't worry about scratching your alloys. Each vehicle manufacturer, make and model has different geometry requirements, so you have to tell the Hunter HawkEye the exact car being worked on and the size of the wheels it's riding on. Tony, over to you.
Right, we'll leave it as stock, so the parameters it's shooting for is to maximise tyre life.
Oh, right, no,
you know, unmodified, we don't need to maximise performance because you've already got it really. Stick to the OEM settings, which is what we don't dispute. If the vehicle's set and we pull it down to simulate downforce or braking, the angles swap their values. Okay, so the cambered angle will deepen, but the caster angle will also increase. And the caster angle stops that deepening camber, bolting the car to one side. So there's a collective migration really of the angles, because they're not just angles, they're forces. Wow. And that's, you know, what geometry really is looking at. Right, the clamping system on these looks a bit medieval. Basically all we're doing now is using 3 pickup points there and there to centralise the unit. And all the pressure is going to a tyre, so basically it's going to hug the tyre to keep the equipment on. What I wouldn't allow, because the system initially come with clamps that clamp on the rims. Well, as soon as you do it tight, you start damaging a wheel. Yeah. That's no good. Two clutches are made up there. One for the front, one for the rear, which is firing at the reflectors, and the cameras in the middle of them are watching the light come back.
What Tony just said is that each side of the Hunter HawkEye has 2 cameras surrounded by a laser. One laser for the front wheel, the other for the back wheel. Each laser emits a beam towards each wheel reflector, and the respective camera picks up the bounced light signal.
And let's say it acquires a vehicle in space. Well, what it wants me to do now is to roll the car back a certain distance and then back and forward again. And what it's looking for is any buckles in your wheels, any errors in my clamping, and it's going to check the ramp's horizon. Okay, and it has to pass all 3 of them before it then be continued. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do now. So now it's going to want me to turn the steering 20 degrees to the left and 20 degrees to the right, and that's the only way it can acquire the caster angle. Because in effect the caster angle is imaginary. The imaginary lines are all through 2 pivotal points, which you can't see. So what it's going to do is it's going to watch the camber angles migrate. So as we turn 20 degrees, the cambers will do that, and the other side will do that. That migration is controlled by where the caster is. And that's how it acquires it in real time. So the steering wheel is pretty much straight. Okay, Okay, so I'll spin it around so you're looking at the vehicle from the top. Now you can see exaggerated toe angle of the passenger rear is towed outside of the car, hits a negative and visual. It's meant to be between 10 minutes towed in to 0, but then it's got an idyllic setting which is smack in the middle. If it's adjustable, then we want it to be smack in the middle. There's no reason, unless it runs out of adjustment or something's bent, there should be a different avenue, but we want the centre points. This really is the dynamic range. So in motion, as the vehicle squats, etc., the toe angle is going to fluctuate, but it needs to fluctuate within that window. At the moment, it's going to go outside of it, which means in a driven state, the tyre is going to wear. Plus the hand is impaired, so a left, a right roundabout in the wet, the back end wants to depart because the driver's side rear is towed in so much.
Yeah.
Right. The back end's displacement, they call that the thrust angle, is going towards there, going towards the curb. On a performance vehicle like yours, that's bad news. Okay, got a slightly lower caster angle on the driver's side front, because you've got a left caster on the front. It's not adjustable, and its position actually doesn't bother me. Reason being, on most cars in the UK, some manufacturers ask us to do it, and some we subliminally do it. We stagger the angle to stop the road clown pulling the car to the left. So we'll either want more on there or less on the driver. So less on the drivers means this one is leading to the right without reply. So that's fine. You can get adjusters for them. It's £1,000 a kit. Waste of money. You don't need it. If it had been the other way round, you would probably say to me, you know what, when I let it go to steering, it goes to the left. Well, that would be why. But this way round, it's no problem. Camber angle, the vertical plane on the front. Again, we're out of tolerance there, so we're 2 straight on the passenger side, 2 upright, and gone slightly outside of the car, 2 far forward or inwards on the driver's side. So basically you've got a bias there like that. Should be able to show you. Once it comes back to life.
This is the exaggerated view of what the wheel will do.
This is basically what it is, which we can move that around depending on the owner what he wants to see really. So there's the casted angle, exaggerated. So we're measuring a line through the top pivot point, through the bottom pivot point, which is the lower ball joint, then to the ground. Between the actual contact patch and where that line goes to the ground, that distance is called the trial distance. Mechanically, the tyre cannot deviate from that. So the more caster angle the car's got, the further ahead the line will be, and the longer the trial distance, so the more stability you get at speed. But I say you're perfectly fine there. And just spin around. Again, it depends what the owner wants to see. If you still don't grasp the angle. Right, now I use a different screen, mainly for ease of use, so I can see it from the back of the car. As I'm adjusting one angle, it's influencing another, so I can't focus on one particular angle. I need to have the whole lot if I'm working on the back and the whole lot if I'm working on the front. So the beauty of the system is, it looks like I've never worked in your car before, and it's totally foreign to me. I think, right, the cambered angles are out, what do I do? So the machine will show you how it's adjusted. It will tell me what to do, which bolts to undo, which way to move it. Right, and it would go further forward. It would normally, but it's obviously very obvious in your car, tell me what size spanners I need. And then we've also got the option of playing a video. So you still don't grasp it, but these guys got to work on every car ever made at random, So you're not going to be familiar with every type, particularly if they're shims. Like the Ferraris and McLarens, them sort of cars, we've got to shim the chassis. There is no ball joint as such, or bushing to adjust. Now, the range on the cambered angle is quite small, because Porsche are not expecting us to need much compensation. So I'm going to base my entire adjustment on this position here. So I'm going to change the cambered angle. I basically want to lift the wheel up. Where that ends up is where I'm setting this one. Once that's done and established, I can then go to the back of the car, correct the rear, fundamentally, what one angle that is shown there is proving a point. Front wheel alignment is a con. The public are being done over. If they put cameras or whatever on the front wheels, if you say to them what you're aligning them to, they'll say each other. Well, you're not. They're aligning the front wheels to the middle of the rear, which is called the thrust angle. Reason being is the front wheels haven't got a point of reference. So to the front wheels, that's parallel, so's that, so's that. So their point of reference is the middle of the rear. But when that angle is zeroed down, it should intersect the steering rack smack in the middle. And from that point, that is now its reference, and we'd adjust the toe angle to that point. And because the front wheel alignment, the front toe is done virtually blind, they're gathering a figure, but they don't know which wheel is wrong. This is why people leave the centre by whatever the centre is, and the steering was offline. Because yes, they corrected it, but they corrected it there. You can't drive like that, so you have to hold the wheel offline to bring the wheels back down to the thrust. Right, so this is my operating screen. Now it's flagging a warning now for handling, and it's basically saying across the axle the difference between these two angles is too much. It does allow a difference, but only 20 minutes, and you've got 37. So basically the handling, because of this, is being impaired. The difference in the casted angles are half the value we're allowed, and that's why I said to you, I'm not worried about that. And it certainly isn't worth £1,000 for a kit, that's for sure. And on the back, again, the toe angles, it's saying there's a problem here. You know, this has got to be addressed. The thrust angle, the line deviation from the rear is displaced. They allow 10 minutes. Going back 15, 20 years, that tolerance was 30 minutes. So cars now are advanced, and they now need to be more accurately set within a smaller parameter. Basically a third of what you used to do 15 years ago. I want that to be nigh on absolutely zero. Now it's moving with vibration and the wind blowing on the car. That's how sensitive the machine is. So give or take, it's moving here, but you can't stop the wind. Well, shut the door down, we do have to sometimes. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. But first of all, we need to sort the front out.
That way.
What I want is under here.
Oh, right.
It's quite, there you go. It's got to come out together, yeah.
So, lift this up. These are our adjustments. Fundamentally, the turret is slotted. So we've got three securing bolts there, and underneath them there should be a slot, like a letterbox. So it's not very big. That's why I say the amount I've got to adjust this one here will determine where it's going to be. Reason being, I want the cambered angles to be as symmetrical as possible. But you're going to have to jack the car up to do it. Right, so the suspension is all going to drop and relax. That is the method we have to use to do these. Okay. Tell it that we're going up. So what it's going to do is going to watch the suspension droop. It's on the back axle. So it's going to calculate the droop of the suspension and take that off of the numbers I'm looking at. Oh, wow. So it's going to simulate it as it was on the ramp. So that with the car jacked up, I'm getting the first, decent adjustment range. Being through, should have watched that. That's up. So I'm now going to be getting a live adjustment. What it doesn't want me to do is touch the toe angles, and that's why I've put it into grey shade. Because the steering arms now have dropped down, so it's not a realistic figure. So basically it puts it in grey shade, so I can't adjust it on that. I can adjust the caster if it was adjustable, and also can the camber.
While you're adjusting the camber, can that affect the caster?
Very marginally.
Marginally, alright.
Yeah. This is not unsimilar to a lot of Porsches we measure. Reason being the accuracy they want and the tolerance that they give. Very often I'll put it on the ground and everything is red. And yet it drives fine. Right? Because it's such a highly tuned chassis, it wants all the parameters to be spot on, but when you're doing 140 on the Autobahn, she's totally predictable. Handling tends to be deprived from the top end down, not the bottom end up. So you might be fine up to 140, no problem. Get the 150, you're starting to feel a bit nervous. 160, you back off, you know. So fortunately, the top scale is where it is, and that's what we're trying to refine the car to now. But you should notice within 100 yards the difference. Even your braking forces change. You could say, what have you done to my brakes? I haven't done anything, but I've given the tyre an undistorted footprint, so it's getting the proper traction, so in which case your brakes are working better. So basically, to try and do these bolts now, it's a two-man job, right? Because I need to pull the suspension leg when he undoes it, and obviously wants to get the position to do that. But he's going to be in the way of the beam, or the reflector rather. So I'm just going to tell the machine that we're going to interrupt the beam. So it's now going to allow me to block a target. And I am just assuming it's factory set. The only thing is you haven't got a visual clue to whether it's been done before. On some cars they put a build pin through the turret, and to adjust it you've got to remove the pin, so at a glance you can tell it's been done.
Try that, Tom?
Yeah, it should just move.
Yeah, try that.
Just, that's it, mate. By the book. Okay, so the reading we've got on the screen there, the one that's saying 13, it's allowed us to adjust that live. So I'm expecting it to be around about 13 once I settle the car down, which is all on bearings at the moment. So basically the car is floating. Now you can appreciate the way this has to be adjusted is quite fierce. You know, it's quite a manoeuvre really to take account. So it's difficult to be minute perfect. Relax over touch. You can see it live on the screen there.
Shame we've got two cams.
It's too much to touch. There you go, I'll settle with that.
Tighten that.
Yeah, please. Okay, so what he's doing is undoing the top mount, where it mounts to the turret inside the car. And that's where the adjusters are elongated, or the turret's elongated, removing the entire suspension leg. Okay, mate?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Put my hand down. That's right. Right, so tell it now. Thanks for that. Right, so tell it we are not going to block the target, and we're going to go down. Right, I'm going to lower the axle now. Okay, so blocking there. I mean, this machine, the Hunter DSP range, comes out in a few different formats. A few places we use it, the information we pay for. But one of the most valuable things is having the machine check the ramp's horizon. Because the ramp's only certified once a year. Oh, excellent. So what happens if a month later it goes offline for whatever reason, be it mechanical or injury or whatever? For the next 11 months I'm adjusting cars on the Matterhorn. Do you know what I mean? So the software to do that we pay for cost a lot of money. But at least we've got peace of mind knowing each job is level. And if not, if the ramp's out of tolerance, it must have a tolerance because it zeroes it. If it's too far, it'll shut me down. Wow. So there's no, oh, we'll just do it anyway. It'll literally say, no, that's it, it's all over. Okay. Not a lot to get hold of under there. Get that. Back to live readings as it is. So considering it, like I say, it's quite a fierce adjustment, we're just a few minutes off being perfect. Although they allow 20, so I'm 3 minutes off being perfect. Now considering that, say, on some cars all you've got to do is turn a cam and the wheel's moving, that one you can be minute perfect, which I'll be doing on the back. But on that particular adjuster, as much as I hate it, I have to accept it, you know. Right, so now I'm going to the back of the car. It's obviously not happy with the toe angles. Cambers are lovely positions. Now, as I said to you earlier on, I may have never done this car before. I might be new to the industry. What do I do? And again, it'll show us. It's telling us what to undo. And depending on the car, it will tell you what size spanners you need. And depending on the car, it will show a video of you doing the job. So it's quite comprehensive there. Okay, I'll just unlock the bed. Right. So the camber adjustment tends to be whichever adjuster's nearest to the middle of the wheel. So I don't see adjuster in there, you just about see it. And that pickup point is right in the middle of the wheel, so I know that's the camber. If I'd never seen this car before, I'd know that's camber. And then the further out you come will be a toe adjuster, which is toe in, toe out, which is on that one there. And you can see you've got the head of your bolt there, and an eccentric cam that's in basically a horseshoe. So as I rotate that cam, it's then going to extend or reduce the length of that arm and form the adjustment. So I'll just get the spanners. Now the adjusters on the back of the car are a bit more generous in their range, fortunately. And this will be a real-time adjuster, so when I have the jacks in the way, we're 24 minutes toe in at the moment. I'll just turn the cam. That's the right direction. Should loosen it off a touch more. Right, 21, 13. There we go. So I haven't directly touched the cambered angle because by chance that's good. The camber angle now spot on at 120 and toe at 6 minutes, 5 minutes hovering because of the vibration and wind. Thrust angle, bottom right 4 minutes, is nearly there where we want to set it. The reason the thrust angle is wrong is because this toe angle is incorrect. So 3 wheels are going the right direction, but not this one. Yeah, and it's tightening up is where I need to be careful because that's when I'm recompressing the bushing.
Yeah.
So by the time I take into account the rubber, well, I'll be honest, you know, the best type of adjuster to me, like you say about OCD, is a shimmed adjuster. Now, most people and places will run away from them. I like them because they're a matter-of-fact adjustment. I'm physically changing the dimension of the chassis. At the moment, I'm adjusting into a bushing. Now, bushing compliance will differ with air temperature. Do you know what I mean? So, the back of my mind, I think, well, it's a cold day today, that could be reasonably solid. So when it warms up, it could be more fluid. You know, I can't stop that, you know. But Porsche know that as well. But we are just talking minutes really. So if I can finish up pretty much minute perfect, then I've done my job really. Right, so we're -3, so she's towed out 3 minutes. I'm getting a lot of money. There we go. Okay, so give or take a minute, that's where it's at. Now the 3 minutes difference in the camber, I would have to accept. Reason being, if I undid it, adjusted 3 minutes and done it up, that bushing compression again may well go out further than it is now. So I'd rather leave it in its sort of tied up or done up state for the sake of 3 minutes. It's just not realistic to adjust it. It's got to be quality controlled yet anyway. So, but the thing is here, the way I operate things, whoever quality controls this job owns it. So if something comes loose, his job's on the line, not mine, because he never quality controlled my work properly. And the reason I do that, I don't want to drive by QC. I want it done, you know, properly. Is it really tight? But not, oh yeah, do. You know, do it properly. Because if that comes loose, you're out of here. So that's say something to the, like I say, the wing. That's what I really wanted, that reference point, which is now going to look different. I'll show you a virtual view again. From the top. There we go. So that centre line is going to hit the steering rack smack in the middle now. The corrective values here and here are different before I've done that. So now I've moved that line, I've moved the reference point, and I've got different amount of compensation for each wheel to have the correct value to the established centre line of the car. That means, that's what I'm saying to you, how can you adjust the front if you don't know where the back is? Because it's generated at the rear angle. So this is my scale again. And it's actually flagging up warnings now. There's something seriously wrong, it's telling me. So if this car wasn't adjustable on this particular angle, obviously it is, that will tell me I need to look elsewhere. There's something wrong, something bent, something worn. You know, it's not just the angle, it's another reason. But we know where that one is. And these have got to be one of the hardest bolts to get on, the lock nuts for these. They're tucked right up top. About there, but from above. So I've got the right side spanner. think this will be 21 actually. We've got there, mate, so. So the window of adjustment on this is minute, so it's got to be centre point as little as, or as much as 5 minutes, as little as 0. We don't measure in seconds, so it can't have half of that value. We don't measure 2.5. So basically that side's hunting now, it doesn't know where it wants to go. And while it's adjusting, if I push on the tyre, it's going to change the figure. It's that sensitive now. Between the inner and the outer arms, of the arm, the joints are marginally worn, but again, collectively, they'll give that amount of movement.
So if that was well into the red zone, you just got to live with it, isn't it?
No, I know it looks alarming when the players oh my god, we can't bend. That might be a factory issue. It's that small.
Okay.
The wheels angles, and here we've got the wheels positions relative to each other. So the axle, despite the length of the car, 2 minutes off being perfectly aligned. Laterally the offset, well no, that's different size wheels on the rear. Between the front and the rear, the axle's off 2 minutes, which is about the thickest piece of that.
So there you have it, that steering geometry on a Porsche Cayman S. We hope you've enjoyed the video, and for the avoidance of doubt, there is no commercial arrangement between Max Revs and Wheels in Motion. We just enjoy bringing great car content to you, the YouTube public. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and subscribe to keep up to date with new content as we release it. That's the end of this video. We're just going to play out with some music and footage of the car leaving the garage. Until the next time, see ya!